So this is my big one. Amanda, I love you, but
how do
this
you
was not
how do you
it.
not like Assistant to the Villain?
And like this. Have you tried the show?
No.
Okay. Have you tried the show?
You made me not want to give it a shot either.
Don't.
Now, is this the one where she's with like an older guy who was like dating her mom or something like that? Like,
it's not quite. Her mom definitely wanted him.
okay,
But he wanted her. So
that's so weird.
Isn't
he like her mom's age?
Around it.
Oh,
Well,
I also read a book that had that in None of This Is True.
Oh. What?
Anyways.
We'll get into it. So this is Rivals by Jilly Cooper. This is technically number 2 in the series, but you don't have to read the first one to understand this one. I'll start with the synopsis. Oh my God, I just noticed it's a 4.11 overall, and that makes me so angry. We'll get into it. Jilly Cooper's outrageous new novel is a riotous story of life behind the television screen. It marks the return of Rupert Campbell Black, the unscrupulous hero of writers, which is the first one, and explores the machinations and pleasures of the very rich, from the agonies of obsession to the passions and betrayal of men and women used to getting what they want. Okay. So, here's what I will say. I'm going to start with the good. The good is that the plot, like with the TV series and everything, amazing. I was invested in that plot. I could have completely thrown out the relationship stuff. A lot of it, I will admit, at the time, it was boring to me and I didn't see the point and it kind of frustrated me. Now, I can accept the fact that it was kind of needed to further the plot. A lot of it was manipulation tactics. But, oh my God, there wasn't a single faithful person at all. At all. And here people are glorifying these relationships and stuff. And they're like, oh, this is yearning. No. You know what was yearning? The only thing that was yearning was Rupert and Taggy. And that was only in the book. In the TV show, it is not yearning. I do not count the TV show as yearning. I count the book as yearning because they didn't do anything about it in the book, which I appreciated because they were each with people and so they separated that. They didn't do that in the TV show. They were like, we're both with other people. Who cares? I'm going to kiss you anyway because I just can't help myself.
Reading books like that makes me like question real life.
Yes,
does it not?
Yes. Like how many? Okay, we're gonna get into that. I got to go down my list first, though. Okay. First of all, I don't remember the last time it took me this long to read an audiobook. It was a 27-hour book at regular speed. Obviously, I read it at 1.7. I've made it up to 1.7 is my regular now. So I read it at 1.7, so it didn't take that long, but it still took a while. That's still a lot of time to dedicate. I read this from December 11th to January 14th. Over a month.
So you did not want to finish reading this.
Oh my gosh. It took me 40% of the book, which when you think about 27% or 27 hours of a book, it took me 40% for the plot to get interesting enough for it to become about the TV franchise. All of the beginning was just setup for like introducing characters and stuff for the actual plot of the TV show. I was like, good Lord. Not to mention, during that time, I got the sisters mixed up in the main family, and I thought Taggy was the 14-year-old.
Oh.
And so there's this scene where she
Was this what you sent us a video about? And you're like,
Yes.
She's 14.
Yes.
And so she wasn't really.
No, she wasn't. And Amanda helped clear that up for me, but I still had to reroute my brain because in my mind this entire time she's been 14 and here Rupert's been lusting after her and making it very obvious.
How old's Rupert?
36, 37? Yes.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah,
Lord
that would
have mercy.
ruin things for me too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if I could finish reading that either.
It was really tough. So once I got she was 18 actually figured out. It still didn't.
That's not better.
4
I was
years.
like, still, I mean, at least she's legal now.
She's
but
legal, but
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that gets me. Here's what makes it
if at 18, I think I would have had the wherewithal, even at 18, where if a 36-year-old guy's coming after me, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. It immediately gives you the
And
ick.
I dated a 38-year-old when I was 22.
Yeah. But even that's different.
Yeah, and again, it's only 4 years, but
There's a lot of maturing that happens in that 4 years.
from 18 to 22, it's like you're a completely different person.
I don't care what you say. You are still a kid when you're 18. You've still got maturing. to
You
do.
have teen in the name.
Yes.
You're dating a teenager.
Yes. No, but that wasn't the worst part. Let me tell you what the worst part was. The worst part were these 3 scenes. One, he was helping her. Somebody had fallen asleep in her bed. He helped move that person so that she could lay down to sleep. He tucked her in. He said, he looked down at her and said, she looks so young. She could be 14.
So this is why this is a problem.
Or maybe it was 12. Either way.
No, that's worse.
Yes, exactly. Then, scene number two. She's playing with his kids because he's got kids from his marriage.
Who are probably her age.
Very close. The daughter is 9. The son is 6, maybe 7. They're playing, and they're frolicking along because they're all children,
Including her.
And he said she never looked more beautiful. She was so vibrant and young. She looked like she could be 14 or 12, whichever one it wasn't with the first scene was the age that he compared her to in that scene. And he still wanted her.
This dude has issues.
That's a file.
Scene?
That's a PDF file.
Scene number 3.
PDF.
Got a censor for TikTok.
That's very funny. I've never heard that. That's great.
Not. That's how most people censor it on TikTok. They call them PDF files.
That's hilarious. Yes. Scene number 3.
She's back.
She's so angry.
Scene number 3. She comes to this party. She hasn't been invited. The whole time, she's like the Cinderella of this family. Everybody's mooching off of her. She's cooking for everybody for all these meetings and stuff, doing it for free because it's family and whatnot. And so she's like working one night, and this guy comes along. He's like, no, you're coming to this party with us. This is a celebratory party. You're going to be coming to this party with us. And she was like, I don't know what to wear. And he said, I've got a dress right here. And, it was a very Cinderella, fairy godmother, fairy godfather, because it was a guy that came to pick her up. Anyway, so she shows up to this party in this elegant dress. She's, aged up. She is looking mature. She is looking like an adult, and she's like, maybe Rupert will notice me looking like an adult. He comes to dance with her.
He's not going to notice you looking like an adult. You have to look like a child for him
That
to
was
notice
my
you.
thinking right here.
Well, he comes and he dances with her. And the entire time, he's like mad at her for trying to look older. And he's like, I much prefer you whenever you're...
Whenever you look like a child.
Yes.
Essentially. Yeah, those 3 scenes really gave me the ick. So for people to like this love story, it's kind of questionable.
I need you to explain yourself.
Please. At least in the TV show, she is aged up to 20.
That's a little better.
A little better.
Does he make the comments still?
No. And
Thank
that's
God.
what I
Thank God.
and what I will say is what the book did wrong, the TV show did right. What the TV show did wrong, the book did right.
Okay.
But there was just all of it was still
Wrong.
All of it. Because the best guy in the series, the one from the beginning that was like, you know what, you guys made fun of my wife, so I'm not going to make a deal with you guys. I'm done. And then he's part of the new rival company. I was like, yes, look at him sticking up for his wife. Good for him. He ends up committing adultery. And, like, what was the point of defending your wife if you're going to disgrace her more?
No one can
than
disgrace
somebody
my wife except me.
Exactly.
It's like that. Nobody talks about my mama but me.
Exactly.
Yes. I was like, what the heck? You just ruined your entire good guy vibe.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. That's another thing I want to touch on is the sex scenes. Yes, there were sex scenes in the book. It was, I don't know how to explain it because it wasn't closed door. It wasn't fade to black. It was just, this is happening. This is, and we move on. It's just a statement of fact, more or less. I saw so many boobs. The sex scenes lasted uncomfortably long.
Oh no.
Uncomfortably long. And then you think it's done, and then they start again. And it's like, oh, why? Why?
You're going to send that part to Amanda, right?
Yes. It's like, why was that necessary? It just makes me feel icky. And the thing
Sex
is,
sells.
yeah. And the thing is, they're all having sex with other people and their wives and husbands. They're having sex with other
everyone's
people's wives
doing
and
it.
husbands.
It's surprise polyamory.
Let's get into that because at least the book didn't say, hey, everybody's doing it. It was just something that was happening. But the TV show literally had a segment, a scene where these two people are talking and this woman's like, I couldn't even, I've never been with anybody but my husband, but I think there's somebody I want to. And she's like, I just can't wrap my head around adultery. And I was like, good job, girl. Good job. I know you falter on that because I've read the book, but good job for sticking up to. And she was, and then she goes and says, "Am I that simple-minded to where I can't handle having two men?" Meaning, like, she can't bring herself to commit adultery because she can't like stay focused on both men. And he was like, "You'll get there." Also, keep in mind, this is Rupert telling her this. He said, "You'll get there. Look around. Everybody does it." They have an entire scene where they just condone adultery. And it's like, how is anybody liking this series? Where have we gone wrong to where it's this TV show is glorifying adultery and like, what about a stable marriage where you don't have to even think about anybody else? That would be kind of nice, don't you think?
Or even just, let's remember that it's bad to cheat on your spouse, at least if you're going to have it.
Exactly. And oh my God, it
just cheats a little bit. It's fine.
It just makes me sick. It makes me angry. It just makes me angry. So yes, this was a 27-hour book. It could have been cut probably in half and just focused on the TV side of things. I would have loved it. There were way too many characters. I couldn't keep track of everything.
The whiplash of emotions that you give me with books sometimes. Dude. I hate this book. It's horrible, but I loved it. Excuse me?
Well, I loved that section of like what was actually happening.
Yeah, just the TV.
The plot.
Yeah.
Yes.
The plot, not the sex,
side.
not the side character. No, the plot. What was happening was fantastic. Yes, it was way too many people. It read like a soap opera. The
guy who plays Rupert is hot though, right?
That's the thing. Not really. He looks better with a beard. They should have let him have a beard.
He's like a. You know how some people are ugly hot, like Cillian Murphy?
Yes, he's ugly hot. I will say that. And I'm going to put this in here because I was thinking it almost the entire time with him. There were some faces he would make where it looked like the Shrek meme, where it was, when he's looking over at Donkey and he's going. He like there were certain angles where that was his face, and I was like, Shrek. You know? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it's on Disney Plus.
That's another thing I want to talk about that was on here as well. I understand that Disney Plus and Hulu are linked. I understand that. However, parents, listen closely. Make sure you've got every single parental control on Disney Plus because it's mixed with Hulu. All of these boobs, all of these butts are on Disney Plus. So it's accessible through Disney Plus. So put every single parental control that you can on Disney Plus so that they can't access this. Oh, no. It is insane. It is. Why did they think that was a good idea? Yeah. Maybe put Disney Plus stuff in Hulu, but don't put Hulu stuff in Disney Plus. You go on Disney Plus, you're thinking
kids.
Disney.
Yeah.
You're
kids.
Thinking Disney princesses, kids stuff, Mickey Mouse, all this. And you're telling me they can just scroll down and reach Rivals? Where the first episode has a full-on dick? Full-on. I'm not an age gap girly. I am not. I don't care that she got aged up to 20. It's not enough.
I am an age gap girly, and that's still weird.
Yes. Maybe if she was
even though I was
mid-20s.
16 crushing on Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
He didn't crush back.
Yeah.
That's very true. That's very true.
He blocked you like a good gentleman.
His fan page.
What I will say, I'm not an age gap girly, and I didn't like how PDF it felt. But all of this buildup for these two characters, and the end comes, and we get a steamy makeout session, and then they decide to get married, and that's it. It was like, what was the point of all this buildup for you to give me nothing at the end? Like, what was all the
give
what
me
was all
nothing.
of it for? What was all of it for? You know, you gave me all these details on him and all of his other affairs. Don't even get me started on the fact that he called her Angel, and I was like, oh, I like that. And then he goes and calls every other woman Angel as well. It's
no.
So, this book could have been half the length, and I would have been much happier. But all these relationships still have all these red flags. I gave it a 2 out of 5, but it's somehow a 4.11 overall. And that makes me angry. The only reason that this wasn't a 1-star was because of the plot with the TV. Funny. Usually books get an extra star for the amount of smut that they have, or the quality of the smut that they have. Literally, window shopping would have been a 1 without the 5-star smut.
This one you took
this
one away.
This one was backwards.
Lost a star.
It is on Kindle Unlimited. I am pretty sure I got the audiobook for free on Audible with a standard membership. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I did.
So what did
Don't waste your money.
Did Amanda try to stand up for this book at all?
So what she did, she watched the TV show first and then read the book.
Okay.
I'm so glad I didn't do that. Because one, I was picturing George Clooney as Rupert.
Okay.
And that worked out a lot better than the TV show Rupert. And I was able to make my own characters, and they actually looked decent. Mm-hmm. And that was not the case. And so, yeah. Yeah. So she was like, you should have watched the TV show first. I don't think it would have swayed my anger toward it, though.
Then you'd have been like, well, why is this even in here?
Right. I'm like, all this build up for what?
Yeah. Because then before you were like, oh, thank God they took this out.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was bad. But thank God I never have to touch it again.
Yes.